Attendance are all. A quorum is established. Executive Director Correnti and Finance Director Erica Miller are also present. This meeting is being audio and video recorded. Thank you. All right. Meeting minutes, April 10th.
Wow. Here we go.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve and place on file the minutes of the April 10th, 2025 Housing Authority meeting.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, Bob. Correspondence, Bob.
Yeah, that's good to see a lot of people here. It's great. Before I start, the two things that to bring up, one is we got a card yesterday from the family of William O'Rourke. Marie's husband, and we sent. We call it the garden. Basket, whatever they call it, the death of her husband.
He died.
Yeah, Bill died, yeah.
Oh.
And she's out of rehab. But wanna let you know that. The other thing was just before we started, I had a resident, say to me that at the last meeting, we did not read the garden policy. And we did, and we went back and forth, and another resident said to me, well, I couldn't hear because of all the chat. And then he also hears Knowles, in one of her postings, that stated that if she couldn't hear something, so I just want to bring that up, that people should have respect for other people here. There are people who have hearing difficulties, I do, but should have some respect and not be rude. If you're smarter than the rest of the world, you don't need to come to the meeting.
Yeah.
And after the meeting, you can certainly go up and call me an idiot rather than sitting here and babbling.
Yeah, so Bob, I'd like to comment on that for the group. Obviously there are different rules for different types of meetings, and this particular type of meeting. This is a meeting for the commissioners. We do allow you folks to speak during open mic, but really, when we go through the agenda itself. First of all, when we get the agenda, we read it. Okay, we don't just not read this stuff. So when we don't review something in this meeting, we already read it. Commissioners know when you're on this board to review the stuff before you get here. If you have any questions, be ready to ask the question. Okay, second of all, you have your time at the end of the meeting to say what you'd like in the open mic process. That's great. We want to hear it. But Bob is correct. If someone's talking, including a commissioner, he shouldn't be interrupted. This is their opportunity to speak, whether it's open mic or this meeting. Thank you, Bob.
Did you want me to proceed?
Please.
In the correspondence, the first item dealt with the agenda request by Mr. Davis and our response, and he had brought up, if you recall, at the meeting, one of the agendas posted at 13 and 16 River Street. You guys had a discussion, and we agreed to do just that. As you can see in the correspondence, a few days later, on the 14th, we provided a written request for agenda of the meetings and would appreciate being sent a copy of the commissioner meeting agendas for all future meetings at least 5 days in advance. I got that letter, I reviewed it. It said, as you've seen, this confirmed receiving request for copies of the agenda for the Board of Commission meetings 5 days in advance of the meeting. A copy of your request is enclosed. The Worcester Housing Authority provides copies of the agenda in compliance with the open meeting law. For your information, at least 48 hours in advance, the agenda is posted in the town clerk's office and the bulletin board at 16 River Street Common Room, as well as on our website. You raised this issue with the Board of Commissioners meeting on Thursday, April 10th, and stated at that meeting, the agendas were previously posted in the common room 13 River, and were no longer posted in that common room. Frankly, in my 10 years ago, do not recall posting it in either 13 or the tablets. Nonetheless, after a brief discussion at the meeting, and in response to your request, it was agreed to post the agenda on the bulletin boards in the common room at 13 River and at the town. Once posted, you can make copies of the agenda, Chuck and me, so you can come to the office to request a copy. I will not be sending you a copy at least 5 days in advance. So that's your correspondence, and I put on there, this came up in the meeting, everything answers.
Recycle dump stuff, 14.
I'm sorry,
The recycle dump stuff now. The next item.
Okay, yeah. The next item is the recycle dumpster at 13 River. And I wrote them at the April 10th meeting. I'm sorry, Board of Commissioners, the open mic segment of the meeting, you brought before the Board of Complaints, the lids of the recycle dumpster too heavy for some residents to live. As the Board of Commissioners is not involved in the day-to-day operation of the housing authority, such issues should be brought to my attention. You can contact the office to set up a meeting with me, the meeting with your schedule in mind. Additionally, meeting with me will provide an answer more expeditiously than waiting to speak at the monthly Board of Commissioners meeting and receiving a response from the board a month or two later. Nonetheless, the recycle container at 13 River Street is a standard waste management 2-yard container with plastic lids. The office has not received any complaints from 13 River Street regarding heavy disposal of lids, nor has the Manchester Maintenance received any complaints or witnessed any issues. Has reported seeing one resident in the early 90s opening a lid with one hand. He also has reported seeing individuals with mobility and manual dexterity challenges still opening the lids. Replacing the 2-yard container with a smaller container is not an option. It would fill faster. If filled, residents would, as has occurred in the past and continues to occur, leave items on the ground around the dumpster. This is unsightly, and the wind might blow items around the property, and these items can attract wildlife. Another option would be to replace the 2-yard container with an 8-yard container, which would have sliding doors and scheduling the pickup every other week. However, the dumpster would still be filled in the front, with residents disposing items in the front of the dumpster rather than passing items toward the back. Then residents will leave items on the ground, causing the issues noted above. It appears we are seeking to solve a problem which doesn't exist. If there is an individual who believes having difficulty, please encourage that individual to speak with me. Again, please contact me to discuss your concerns regarding day-to-day operations. And I did send him some emails, and he did respond. Some emails saying, please do not contact BHA vendors. Yeah, we've had this issue through the years here. I've had contractor who walked off the job because he said he was told this. Residents said we didn't tell him that. There's liability issues. We had a vendor give us a bill for something we didn't contract for, and we don't want to hurt the vendor, but you know. And if people are talking to vendors, they could be saying a different story than what I'm telling. You know, so I'm contacting the vendors. You know, saying it, I said it keeps it current. Like Waste Management told me, if we ever did anything that you didn't approve, we're gonna go after the resident.
I think the bottom line here is residents should know to come to the office. If they have a question about a vendor or whatever, don't deal with the person that's doing the work. All right,
The heat and hot water issue, we put that in there because we had a significant problem, John's in the lobby, with building 3-5 here. With heat and hot water that went on for a couple of days, no hot water. And I just wanted to fill you in as to what the problem is and how this went on and on and on, so that you're aware of it. Unfortunately, these systems now are highly computerized. And, you know, if someone like me, you can't touch it. And what we had there was a failure on the main circuit board. They thought they had it, they didn't. I'm talking about the hot water issue. Then the main circuit board was fixed, and then something downline of that was then diagnosed as a problem. That was fixed, and we had something else. Stuff wasn't available. I mean, it was they had an open checkbook as far as overtime to solve this, but I just wanted to give you information so you're aware of it.
Sure.
Positive about it.
Mr. Chairman,
absolutely.
Bob,
Bob,
can I just ask a question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, this is informative.
What?
This is informative.
Yeah.
Am I speaking loud enough? I hope. But anyways, did the residents get any information back to them? What? Did you send, put anything under their doors or anything, so they know? It's nice to, I appreciate this, but
Yes, they did send it out.
Okay. that's all I asked.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because it was an inconvenience, and we wanted people to think it was just, The next one, I'm gonna just touch the third rail here. You gardening and planting and landscaping policy. This came up at your last meeting, some people were there, some weren't. I know people are talking, Ms. Knowles online about transparency and such. One issue was, there was a lot of confusion at the Talbot, because we didn't send a memo with the Talbot.
Yeah, I was confused about
So the flip side of that would be if we send a memo.
Bob,
no-
Bob,
Right.
Bob, the board,
Right.
the board.
Alright, so the flip side of that would be if we sent the memo, there's no confusion. Well.
Well, I was still confused.
Okay. Alright, so we have here
Thank you.
a memo that was sent to 13 and 16 River Street. And the memo was sent to 13 and 16 River Street because the title of it is Revised Porch Policy, New Gardening, Planting and Landscaping Policy. So we touched both of those items in that memo. The Talbot, if you drove by, they don't have a patio. Right, a porch. So they didn't get the memo that talked about porches because they don't have porches. They got a separate memo. All 33 residents got a memo. So, stuff is online out there saying we didn't do this. Not everything you read online is truthful. That's a quote from Abraham Lincoln. We did it. So I would assume now.
Your school buddy?
Huh?
Your school buddy?
Yeah, with school buddy, yeah. So I would take it that based upon that statement, first of all, it should be corrected because it's in error. But number two, then there's no confusion, because they did it. Now, memo, so you got both of those memos concerning gardening. And I think it was Commissioner McDonald had asked us not to give the residents some time. And we agreed to June 1st. So you adopted the policy on April 10th, so, and people have until June 1st to be compliant. We're not gonna go up there the day after the policy and tell people you gotta rip up your rose bush or whatever. And number two, I've had one person so far come in, took all of maybe 10 minutes and they've applied. I know people have complained to me that someone's walking around saying, you have permission to do this. I mean, it's craziness here. But that craziness is, we said at the meeting, is what got us to propose these policies. We cited the issue.
Yeah, and that's, we're gonna talk about this probably later on, but yeah, there's a history behind it.
Yep.
Right?
You want me to continue?
Please.
Investment accounts, as of May 1st, you'll notice at the top, there's no maturity date for the enterprise money market. It was approved at 4%. Expired maturity, I guess. They don't have a maturity date yet. That money market will be purchased next Wednesday or Thursday, so then next month's report would happen. But as you can see, the sheets that are attached compared to the previous month, it was down by $29,933. We're still over the 4 million mark, and again, we being ourselves, funds can only be used for whence it came from. We are probably getting more conservative. We were at a recent meeting teamwork, and they reported things are not looking good from Washington. Kids program,
Head Start.
Head Start, seeing cuts, weatherization programs, seeing cuts in funding, fuel assistance, seeing cuts in funding, and I think their feedback from their lobbyists in Washington is that let this go through the summer into the fall, because there'll be a new budget that's being worked on, and you'll start to see then more clarity, more reality. However, the general consensus is you're going to see some reductions. They're going to impact some people. Everyone's concerned with what it is, so you just have to deal with it when it happens. But I think we're in good financial shape. Period of time. Continuing on, paying the bills report, we have the paying the bills report, I will answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman. I make a motion. We approve and pay the bills from April 1st, 2025 to April 30th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Opposed?
Section 8 voucher payment is one of the areas where a lot of diciness. You can see that you're approving $96,148 being paid for rent. We are receiving $88,629 from the government. No, you can see there's a shortfall there.
Jim, may I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Is this, just a few minutes ago, Bob, you brought up, about the whole government, the feds, cutting, is this? I think you touched on it the last meeting, so that's what you're talking about now, the cut from 88 to, well, 96 to 88. Is that,
Not right now, but that eats into the shortfall reserves that we have. We should have had around 75,000. It's not, it's the money that the years where months we got more money from the government and paid out less in rent, put in reserves. It was around 75,000. As I said in the last meeting, we're in the mid-20s. So this shortfall this month will be made up with money being pulled out of that reserve. What will happen is when it gets to zero, that's when the rubber hits the road. Right now, you can apply for Section 8 voucher, but we're not issuing it anymore. We, if someone turns one in, which is usual, we would just not replace it. Number two, we're starting to now search around to other establishments that are in the black. So if they're in the black, we had a meeting last week and it's continuing next week with 80 housing authorities relative to this. There's a lot of doom and gloom out there. The worst case that would happen is people would go through their reserve, you can't move anymore, and then you have to pull a voucher in and you make someone homeless. I don't see that as happening. I can't imagine a politician making someone homeless, but I couldn't imagine a lot of things. So it's something that's a concern, and to answer you directly, it's no answer right now.
Okay.
Just guessing.
thank you.
Need a vote?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we approve the payment of $96,148.94 for the debt of housing authority for overseeing Section 8 housing.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Is you opposed?
Move along with that. Next is the monthly.
49.53%, Bob.
Yep. We're training these guys well. You're right, so that's frankly, I hate to say it, these guys didn't give it, that's a good number.
Yeah.
For 1st of May. Because our year ends in June. So, yeah. We still have to be careful, but we're not close to that 35% number, so that's good.
Yeah.
And certainly. Here at 487, we're in good shape, so. Typical answer, you put on file, I think we're.
Please,
Continues in good financial shape. Next, you have the payroll report for a vote.
Mr. Chairman, make the motion that we approve payroll report from April 3rd, 2025 to April 24th, 2025.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0.
Next is the vacancy report. If you look at it, it's 705 Scattered Site, that's 27 Trumpet Road. We signed the lease, so that's off the list. There's 0 vacancies at 33 Talbot and 13 River, here at 16 River Street. 4P, we just signed the lease, right?
Yeah.
And 2F, I think,
They're taking it.
yeah, and 2F is all set.
Yeah.
So we're in good shape there. I'm sure next month we'll have some new ones, but it's a good year. We want to put that on file. Executive Director's report. Nothing in here that could get everybody worked up about, but we do have a number of pending legal actions that, as I said before, we'll report on the conclusion. And we did have a quarterly tenant meeting. I did list of organization projects. They're on the way, moving a little further on the bathroom sinks, and the video surveillance, moving along. The Talbot parking lot, we drive it a little bit loose, and there's still being reviewed. Don't know why, but Executive Office of Housing is still involved with it.
Mhm.
We're pushing, there's some things that we're pushing it, not ready to discuss publicly, but. So you want me to keep going?
I do, the wage match certification.
The next thing, wage matches, you are well aware from previous conversation. With. We receive confidential information from various sources. Wage match is one. What is wage match? Well, if we had your social security number and you signed a release, you're applying here. And you would tell us where you work, you go in there, it's a database that's Department of Revenue. So it would show us this quarter, this is what you earned, where you worked and all that. Believe it or not, there are people that don't disclose stuff that shows up.
Mhm.
But wage match, the Department of Revenue requires the person who uses it to have certain training and understand the confidentiality and all that. And the board just to indicate that they approve of the wage match certification that was provided to you.
So there is no,
No written motion.
yeah, no, it's gonna be just a general
Just
motion. or something like that.
to approve the certification.
Yeah.
Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the wage match certification.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 4-0, Bob.
Well, lastly, from me, is an easement to not to work at Baptist Church. If you look at the diagram. If I showed you this diagram here, this is the property owned by North Billerica Baptist Church.
Mhm.
And it's the parsonage.
Yeah, is that the house behind us, well?
Yeah, they asked him,
Yeah, we're in a regular meeting right now, so Bob's talking to the commissioners right now.
so that borders, as you can see, our property. This is our property, the parking lot. And this is the cement pad where people go to smoke. And right here. And so what they need to hook up to sewer is the best way, more economical way for them is to go through right behind where people smoke, where the trees are, and they would hook up right over here. And as you probably know, this is not the first rodeo, have you? They're doing that, they have to return it to the way it is, they're responsible for it. And frankly, I see absolutely no issue with it. Secondly, even though they're gonna patch it and fix it, ultimately the parking lot's gonna get done over, so even if they're patching. Isn't totally good, we're doing the parking lot over, so you won't see it.
Right.
You won't know anything about it. Now, once the easement, there'll be plenty of easements, as you know, around town, if something happens, they're responsible for having it fixed and returning the property to its original shape. So I see nothing wrong with it, I need you to vote to approve the request for the easement and to authorize me to sign documents. Be happy to answer any questions, but I think the documents that gave you the property of the grant.
Bob,
Yes,
my memory is going a little bit, but the part that the easement is just is that in the all totally all in the parking lot? It's not like trees or anything, it's just,
no, it's a tree area,
yeah, so they're gonna replace the trees and everything?
no, they're not even gonna cut the trees.
Oh, they're not, okay, that's what I was
Wall too.
Yeah.
Yes. It's down the wall.
If they was to it.
Yeah, I understand, I just didn't know if it was,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, if they had knocked down a wall, they'd have to replace the wall. If
Okay.
they had cut down a tree, they'd replace the tree.
Yeah.
All right,
Hold
I
on.
have a,
oh, sorry.
Bob, what's the reason that they're doing this?
You need to sewer the parsonage. And I don't know if
So they-
septic.
Yeah, they
They're
don't,
doing this, and
they don't currently have storage from the Colson Street side.
no, they can't get to it.
Okay. And this isn't gonna have any effect on any of our lines or anything like that.
Um, In the sense of transparency, it's a parsonage. Pastor or parson does not live there. Needs or whatever, but they rent it out to a family that needs housing at a significant low rate, so I told them. If they move out and parson is there, you can donate it to the housing. And we take the victim role.
That was my next point. What are we getting in?
Yeah.
He told me, I changed my religion, don't go to his church. But so there's really no impact to us.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
We get nothing back in return?
Oh, they'll say a prayer for you.
I was gonna say.
One.
I think it says it all, to be honest with you. I think the grant,
You good?
yeah, the grant says it all.
You good, Dick? Good. Okay.
All right, here's. Reading this brief. I move that the Berkeley Housing Authority grant an easement to the North Berwick Baptist Church, formerly known as the Baptist Society of North Berwick, to construct and connect an underground sewer line in the area shown as proposed sewer easement 1856 plus or minus square feet on easement plan dated April 7th, 2025. Which will allow the North Baptist Church to connect to multiple sewer lines which run through the rear of the Berkeley Housing Authority property on Talbot Ave, as further described in the grant of easement document submitted to the authority and to the body vote who the authority authorized Robert M. Correcki, Executive Director, to sign the grant easement document on behalf of the Berkeley Housing Authority. So, excuse me, 1 minute. So they're connecting to our sewer line?
It's a sewer line in the parking lot, we connect to it.
Okay,
It's just in our parking lot that goes up.
okay.
It's not a private line for us, it's a line that is not
Just
right
now,
now.
put it in,
Right,
and yeah,
right.
probably would.
I'll second that.
Back in those days.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4 roll call. All right, so we are coming up on the summer months here, and for the meeting schedule, we have June 12th and July 10th. Just a real quick look around the room here, because sometimes we adjust the schedule because it's summer, but. No, okay, so our next meeting will be June 12th, followed by July 10th. All right. Open mic, there are 2 people. Lou Matakis.
No, I think I was last.
Oh, wait a minute, you have more?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at this, we have another page. Speak devil that I am. Huh? Mary and Amber. Garden policy is the subject.
I asked to go to the messenger.
No.
To the messenger.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We, the undersigned residents at 13 River Street, the Lurka Housing Authority, respectfully ask that you reconsider the garden policy approved by the Lurka Housing Authority Board of Commissioners on April 10, 2025. As we find it to be restrictive, punitive, and confusing. The approval process was not clearly explained to us, and so we find it difficult to comply. Presentation of this policy is hostile and demeaning to residents who are responsible for the respectful stewards of the property. We also respectfully request the nominal garden restriction on vegetable gardens be rescinded. Although included in the meeting minutes, it was not discussed at the 4/10/2025 meeting as a timestamp on the document. Allowing vegetable container gardens at 33 Talbot Street readily, but not at either River Street complexes is unfair, and no rationale for this exception was included. Very few wild animals will be attracted to container vegetable gardens, and in our experience, this has not been an issue. The residents who raise vegetables, plants, and produce for others, which enhances our sense of community and our health and well-being. Also, many seniors believe it, they vegetables for their own consumption, which is saving money. We respectfully request that we, the residents, are included in the discussion of this policy and any other policy that directly affects our quality of life. We also request that draft policies be made available to us in advance of meetings, so we may share our input.
Thank you, Mary. Next, we have Deb Meehan.
Thank you for letting me talk. To follow what Marion said, I don't understand why this policy was approved without prior notification to the residents. First of all, we didn't even get a copy of it, so we could have it in time for our tenant meeting. So we didn't know what to question or what to ask. That's not fair to us. Now, because we only have tenant meetings every quarter, we have to wait another 3 months before we can bring this up. So I want to know why it was approved by the Board of Commissioners and not presented to us before.
And I'll talk about that after we get
Thank you
through
very
and we
much.
talk about that.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
very
much.
She had that writing.
I'm all set, Bob. Patricia Doherty. The general, is it general? Is that the subject?
General, yeah,
Yeah,
didn't have time to write them. I just wanted to talk about why we have the plant policy. Well, the reason we have the plant policy is because there are people that can't, I don't know why they, abide by the rules here. And the people who are complaining on. You don't abide by the plant rules. And that's why we have to have this. And look at, I don't want, no, I know, I'm talking now. You
But
don't,
then,
yes.
you're talking.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, there you go.
It's a phone call. So, but that's the reason we have it, is there are people that can't abide by the rules. So we have to have it. I don't want it, but we have to have it, so I will abide by it. That's the reason, and we can't just have it and not everybody else. Which is sad, but it is the way. As far as vegetables, we can't have the vegetables because there's people who have vegetable gardens and put them too close to their place, which allows the animals to get into the buildings. Some people do have places to put them that are far enough away, but then there are others who don't follow the rules. You know, and then it just runs the dog. So that's the, is people just can't follow the rules. You know, if we all could, then it would be a nice world, but we can't. Now I'm like, I need to go.
Okay, thank you, Patricia.
That's it.
Lou Matakis?
Yay.
I just wanna say that this policy is creating confusion where it shouldn't be. It's just read it. All you have to do. All right? It doesn't have to be explained to you, read it, and that's that, you have to June 1st. And other than that, everything's going great on the
Thank you. And finally, we have Tom Davis, recycling.
Last board meeting, I brought up recycling on the see if we cut down half, 1 or 2 yards. Likewise, I got a letter on the 18th of April that I should have brought that up at the meeting, I should have brought it over by. The reason I didn't bring it up, why I brought it up in the meeting, was when we had the tenant meeting. I was gonna speak at the tenant meeting on the recycle dumpster. But when Mr. Correnti falsely accused the tenant of calling him stupid, he canceled the meeting. The meeting was over with. No one got to speak at that meeting. That's why I brought it to the board meeting. Now, since then, the recycling man has come over there, and I spoke to him. I just asked him if there's any way they can cut one of those in half, make it easy for people to get in. And he says he saw one before, he doesn't know where he saw it. This Wednesday here, he come by and called me over. And he says, let me empty the recycle dumpster, there's someone here that wants to speak to you. In his truck was his manager. And he said, you were worried about the dumpster? I said, yes. And the thing is, when I brought the recycle dumpster off, not to get off the subject, is it's difficult for some of the seniors to open that. It's not that they can't open it, it's difficult. I help a lot of people take their trash out. I help them with the recycles and stuff like that. It's just difficult to open the door up and get the bag in there. That's why some of the trash is left out next to the dumpster. The manager for waste management said he's gonna look into it to see if they can do that, to make it easier. When I get the letter from Mr. Grundy, when he responded to that, he also said if they cut it down there, it could be a hazard to the people because they can cut on the edges and stuff like that. Waste management said they will file it down if they can do it. But he said next week, he'll be back to me on that, when they come with recycle again.
Yeah, so I think this came up, and I appreciate your comments on this, because we certainly want to have access for everyone to be able to do that thing, right? I think the issue here, underlying issue here is, you know, in order for this to be done correctly, since we, you know, it's the housing authority that is actually the one leasing or renting the service, you know, we have to talk to the manager, Bob has to. And that's what we're trying to get done here. And if Bob makes a decision after talking to the manager about rectifying the situation, so be it. If not, and there's a problem still, fine, we'll.
The manager says no one has called him on time to see if there was anything done. I never said that people can't open the recycle.
Mhm.
It's just difficult for them, especially seniors and people that are handicapped. There are a few here right now, they can tell you, it is difficult for them to open that up.
This is the time that I can, that I'm not, that's it. So I have to open the top this way, put my elbow and pry it up and try and lift the bag that I'm emptying into the compactor. This I've had 2 operations on it. So it's impossible for me to even, you know, hold it on.
Thank you, Tom, you're all set? Thank you very much.
No,
There's some legal
No.
questions here.
well,
All right, because you know we don't want to see them right now, right?
I know, you know what, folks? You guys live in a community that's, you know,
It is a community.
you guys are close. And
We have one person to answer to. This is him right here. And this is ridiculous that we can't get him.
You know, it's difficult sometimes
It is.
to have you guys agree on things. Because you do live with each other. All right, just like any community, there's gonna be neighbors that have issues with each other. What we're trying to do is bring it down a bit here, so. Quite frankly, we don't have to bring it into this meeting, all right? And that's why we trust Bob with the day-to-day operations. No, hoping Mike's over, I think, because you didn't sign up, it went to all the people. But that's all I'm gonna say now. With that, I turn it over to the board if they have any questions or a motion.
I have one question.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, just to go to the policy, you spelled it out, and I think you brought it up too, is that. We're trying to. And I said this before the last meeting, and I apologize for. Repeating it, is that we had the same type of issues, and I'm on the cemetery commission. But people put flagpoles up that we had no idea, this, we had to go through a whole policy. For Bob is, yes, is that. They have the ability to come to you, you said somebody, and to get it approved. Right, so it's not like you're saying nobody can have these, but prior to June 1st. Please take the time, either call or sit down, have it approved with, not going back and forth, but wherever you want to plant sign. Because, I'm sorry, man, but what you're saying is that, you know, the day-to-day is him, the plowing situation, a lot of other things are coming up. We had issues a few years ago with I think it was around here somewhere that somebody pulled their child plants up or something, right, if I remember right. So I'm saying he's trying to control, so he eats, that's all, just if this thing is that. You know, cumbersome to live though, you can't understand it, I don't understand, just go through water if you want to put something.
That's not the problem. That's not my problem, my problem is that I can understand where he's coming from on doing this, that some people don't follow rules and so on. But his limitations, he's saying that we can't have a planter that's any more round than like this. I mean, what are you gonna put in a planter that's only this round on the top?
The blue line,
You know,
size pot.
That's it, is the restrictions, the problem, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, I know you live in the cemetery, the same thing, but it's the restrictions that need to be gone over.
Don't, right, I understand what you're saying, but it has to stop somewhere, pot this big, you
But
know.
none of us got to talk about this before, where now we're getting the opportunity to, and I think you guys should listen to us. A lot of the things, speaking only for myself, is like a couple of fences I brought from a house I lived in for 40 years. Now, I hope you don't expect me to throw those away. They're out in my garden, they look absolutely beautiful.
Please speak with,
You know, I mean, that's my problem, is the restrictions on like.
I understand what you're saying.
I mean, there is a history here, and it's already been brought up, right?
I understand.
Some of the stuff has even been into litigation,
Yes.
okay? So that's why we have to, yes, we want you guys to be able to, you know, live comfortably in your community. Yes, we do. But having said that, we also have a responsibility to the authority, and your safety. And that's what we're trying to achieve is balance here. And conversations like this are good. You're right. And can we tweak that? How do you do this? Yes, we can. We can talk about it. We can come up with something. But for now, you know, let's just keep the line of communications open. We'll look at this and then come back. Motion?
That's all we're asking.
Here we go.
Motion?
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
I did the motion,
I second.
Thank you.
What's up?
I know we have to get out.
I